Now, I wanted to talk about chapter 4 in relation to the documentary we've been watching. It's really interesting on how this really captures those violent rituals. As you see, I think it's about 7 minutes into the documentary on the former Yugoslavia. You basically see that type of violent rituals, right? You see the competitive nature. You see just a different name calling, blood feuds, etc. And what you see there is essentially bad blood, historically speaking, between Serbia and other groups, particularly the Kosovars, the people of Kosovo. And later it gets into Bosnia Herzegovina, Croatia, etc. So Slovenia was the first to break, but this caused essentially the breakup of the former Yugoslavia. But I think the Battle of Kosovo, 1389. Now, I know a lot of people out there think I'm old. I'm not that old. Where they basically reenact, well, not basically, they did reenact this thing, but it was a loss. That's what's so amazing about it. It's like reenacting things you lose. And they are held over your head, a la Pancho Villa, behind me in this kind of, battle of memory, which is important for, the development of nationalism. Like we are the victims. And when you listen to Milosevic speak, you see the discourse move from communism now to nationalism. And it begins to be no longer brothers, but us versus them and the othering. And then you start seeing the emotion. And then they complain about, opportunity hoarding. Oh, these people have what we want, and we don't even have things. And if you look at the book, I'm just going to take a look at the page 84. It has a list of things like competitive display we see, not just between the Kosovars and uh, 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 the Milosevic, but also Milosevic versus other members of the party. You start seeing this polarization, right? The book explains how it kind of opens space for this type of behavior and more competitive display. But we could also see polarization decreases space for moderation, for diplomacy, for it just increases the emotion, the discourse, the hatred, and the othering that later then leads to collective violence. And what I like about this too, I mean, I don't like it, but it really demonstrates as well when they start saying, oh, we're being attacked. They threw things at us. Is that true or not? That's exactly right out of the book where they start saying, oh, this man's a liar. This man attacked us. This man did this. This man did that. Now, we have to be fair. This woman did this. This woman did that because, women are involved too. But this is very, very important to understand. And it begins to be a battle of narratives, who's right, who's wrong, who's, hoarding all the opportunities. I've been here so long, etc. Now I can't work and they stole these jobs, etc. As, the anti-immigrants will say, they're poisoning our people and all this stuff. And it's very, very interesting. So it becomes this kind of battle on so many fronts. It's not just a battle to get resources, it's a battle over who's right or who's wrong, who's the victim, whose nationalism, whose nation, ethnicity, religion is better. And you see this right behind me, which might seem like a statue that doesn't fit into this, but it actually does. Pancho Villa, when great restaurant in San Francisco. I really enjoyed it. Very cheap. They say San Francisco is expensive. It is, but particularly to live, but you can find these little restaurants that are really good. So Pancho Villa, that's him in a statue at the restaurant I went to. I do another video. Is he a hero or is he a villain? But what's interesting about in this case is when he was going into New Mexico, the people of Mexico enshrined him like he was, getting back at the gringo who stole half of our land, etc. Whereas the United States said, no, he's a bandit, he's a villain. And it becomes a battle of narratives, a a battle of history, a battle of to a certain degree, as you can see this statue behind me, he's very strong. He's standing there with his gun, etc. Nationalism, Mexican, I think history is filled with nationalism. Obviously, some great nationalism, being proud of the culture, and then not so great, right? Because there is prejudice against other groups, like say Central Americans, etc. But nothing like what happened in the former Yugoslavia, where it just disintegrated a state. And since I can barely talk, I'll stop there. And I hope you enjoy. Maybe you've noticed this is our little up here is Pennywise. He's been watching me. I don't know if I get kind of nervous with him. Maybe later tonight I will wake up with a big balloon over my head, if you like that movie. So take care, everyone.